monitor the flows which are failed, or to monitor the flows which went to runtime error, like when we deployed it had some problem and it went error, that and all you can see here. Or if it is locked, you can always come here and unlock here. So this is artifact logs. Which one is it? Splitter. Okay, this package is locked. I'll just unlock it. Just unlock all the other ones also.
I was talking on more topic.
Okay. So I think we have covered general iterative splitter.
Yeah, we were lagging with this nested generator.
Okay, we were just left with nested. Okay, just recapping. Like there are other splitters also. IDOC splitter, EDA splitter, um, star splitter, zip splitter. I think there are some 7 types of splitter. Maybe you can just
Mm.
go through that standard
SAP.
blocks.com, which you can
Mm.
see. But I just explained general splitter, iterative splitter, because we most of the iFlows in real time scenarios we'll be using this only. General or iterative splitter. Like I saw IDOC and EDA splitter also, but IDOC comes under only if you are sending IDOC messages. If you are sending it in IDOC format, then we will use IDOC splitter. But still, if it doesn't has much parameters like this general iterative splitter, it sometimes causes problem if it is large payload issues and all. But still, people uses it if it is small payloads or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I think you can see even in blogs they'll just concentrated on iterating and general splitter. I not seeing other ones also. Maybe it's there in other link.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, difference between general and iterating is the general preserves the header along with the body. Like when we split it, it will come with the header. But iterative splitter is not like that. It will just split wherever we are giving that path. Like if you are giving some X path as customer like items, it will just split the items or customer details, something like that. It doesn't go
Mm.
and have that header details. It doesn't do that. Based on requirement, if you want header, you always go with general splitter. If you don't want header, you with iterating splitter. Other than that, I think both are pretty much okay with like same with the processing time or consuming memory when it comes when you want to select among those factors. I think both goes the same way. It is just that how data you want like based on data conversion rules you can just choose that. So then we have like nested general and nested iterative splitter. Like we won't use it, like we won't call it in real time, like very rare. But when we will use nested is like when we have like too many loops or too many entries which you want to split. Like you want to split it according to entry orders also and items also. Then we can multiple levels of hierarchy, totally. So here you can see like here we have like 4 different types of items. Item 1 keyboard, item 2 mouse, and item 3 is monitor, and item 4 is webcam. But you are ordering these two
With
items
one,
from this customer, and these two is belongs to, like this customer is ordering these two items, this customer is ordering these two, and supplier is same, right? But they are sending one XML, and you want to send it to, like you want to split it and send it to 2 different systems. How we will do? And
mm.
requirement will be like, you have to split it at order level also, you have to split it at item level also. Like you want to split it according to customer and you want to split it according to items also, then the issues comes. So what we will do at that time, we will have 2 splitters. One to split it at the order level, one to split it at the item level. Okay. That I will show in use
Mm.
case. If you real time use cases like multi-order XML, like, and downstream expects only one order at item at a line, like the different downstream system isn't like receiver system. Okay. Uh, so they will have like multiple requirements based on their limitations and something like that. We can send it as we want, but it is always the coordination between front end, back end, and middleware. So if
Mm.
they have, like if we have some limitations, we can tell to front end team that you can't send it like that. You can send, you should send it like this only. Same way, similar way, if even people from receivers team will also say like we have this limitation, so you can't send it like this. Like that. So we have to agree and we have to make similar. Like we have to analyze if we can do such modifications and
Mm.
then send like that. Okay, so here it's the same. You can see like we have used the HTTPS connection here, same like I just given some name. So, so what and all parameters we will be having in genders beta, we will having expression type. Here we can see XPath and line break. In iterating splitter, there will be one more option called as token. Okay. So line break
This
is
is
like,
token, yeah.
yeah, line break is like if it is
Mm.
like CSV format like 11112222, like
Mm.
that last time I think you saw. It's still like if it is like this, you want to break it according
Mm.
to then we'll be using line break.
Going to like group or a single, yeah.
Yep. So like that. Next path expression is like where exactly you want to cut it. Like you want to split it according to order. You want to split it according to item. That you I want to split it according to order. Okay. You give the double slash order, or you can always give like slash order also. But since it's a small, we just hover on it. We will see. Okay. See if you see. Enter an XPath expression to navigate to the split item using absolute order items order or relative path order. You can give two ways also. Relative as in like you go directly to that path and split it. Absolute as in like if we like it behaves the same way but still based on people's comfort how they want to split. Since it is small larger, if it is larger payload, we can't keep entering all the payload fields and all. So will be always it is better to use the relative path. And grouping, I don't know how to do grouping here. I just click on enabled streaming and parallel processing and all. Like rest all everything I kept it default. So then again we want to split it according to item level. Like I want to split it item. So this way we can split it, use the nested splitter. Like we are using two nested splitters. First at order level, then we will be splitting according to the item level. So this way we'll be having two orders and four items. Then I just added content modifier to show Postman like how does it work. Then I'm just again gathering it. So while gathering, right? Wait, let me just show you how it works. Then it is easy to understand. Postman switch on trace as well. So we have used it uh, endpoint URL of the CPI.
Yeah.
We just same payload which I showed you in Notepad. I'll just click on send.
Mhm.
Okay, now you
You
can
got it.
see, yeah.
Yeah, I just scripted. Oh, okay, okay. It's like
So
page breaker.
it is in raw. I'll just switch to XML. So you can see like each item uh,
Mm.
is also there, and each like per item, what is the order? Per item, what is the order? That way. How
Yeah.
come it gathered? Like if you want, if we go to the trace long data, will be more clear. So yeah. So if you come to here, we will be you'll be seeing the payload which we sent. The
Mhm.
payload which we sent. Then what it does? It will go to general splitter and it will be splitting first according to order. Okay, if you see, we are given
Okay.
order, right?
Mm.
So for order 001, it got splitted. Okay, next if you go to general splitter 2, it is order 2. Here it is order 1. Here it is
Mm.
order 2.
Yeah.
Then again we have used the another general splitter to split it at the item level, that you will be seeing here. So again, first item got splitted, second item got splitted, then it went to gather two. It gathered the first item and second item. And then you will be seeing the other order was there, right? That order, like since we have enabled parallel processing, it won't be in sequential. Like first this has to come, this has to come. If you want that, then you have to disable this parallel processing. Since it's a parallel processing, it just goes parallelly, like streaming
Yeah.
enabled, right? So that way. So this way we have split it and gathered. Like we don't need to gather again since I want to cover gather concept also. I'm just adding that gather also. Like gather, what all options are there? We can gather based on aggregation algorithm, aggregation strategy. Okay. So here we have like we can gather in plain text or like if it is like two different format. Okay. Say if we are using multicast and one has to be in one receiver system expressing XML, another receiver system expressing JSON, and or some other XML format, multi XML and all. If it is different format, then we can come here and do that combine or tar or zip. Here you can see concatenate option is not there. Only when it is plain text you can see concatenate. Tar zip and all. You want to zip it or tar, like you never use it.
Yeah.
Usually concatenate. Same way XML same format is there. Here you can
Mhm.
see combine a text path option also if it is same format.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is the benefit of using splitter
So
and yeah, you need
now
that.
you are no, no, no.
Okay, so this is the easy concept. Like that's it for
Like
this splitter and
splitting
gather.
the long
Long payload.
like
Yeah,
big, yeah, big
Yeah,
payloads into smaller one, and then we will at the end we will concatenate it again, right? Like
yes. So
yeah,
if
we
they
will
want to concatenate, we will be concatenate. Like if they want to gather
based on their requirements.
based
Okay.
on the requirement. Usually,
Mhm.
when we split, we see. I will tell you one real time scenario. So what happens? I think last time also I was mentioning, right?
Mhm.
So there will be retail store and they have to send invoices of okay, there will be one warehouse and same company they will be having their own warehouse and they will be having their store. Okay, so
Mhm.
whatever products which came from warehouse to sales, that they will be verifying using their invoices, like how much products came from warehouse to store and how much sales is happened in stores and how much is remaining in stock. So like how much they have sold in stores, they will be having invoices, right? So to compare that, they will be sending invoices to backend SAP. Like every data, they will be putting it in SAP uh, to maintain that master data and documentation kind of stuff. So they will be sending invoice. So say like in one day, like
Mhm.
some more than some thousand products got sold out. So for each thousand, like for each product, they will be having like different invoice, right? So they will be sending multiple invoices. So when they send in invoices, it will be like EDI format or something like that. Okay, EDI is like electronic data interchange. You saw invoice, right? Like nowadays, if you order from Amazon, you will be getting that invoice in electronic data format.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that format they will be sending. So that you have to convert it to SAP can't accept that way. SAP wants in IDOC or XML format, something like that. So we have to convert it to IDOC. So that we'll be doing, we'll do some mapping and all. We will be converting it to IDOC. And now when we convert into IDOC, we will be having some 10,000 IDOCs. We can't send 10,000
Mm-hmm.
IDOCs all at a time to backend. So we have to split it and send.
Okay.
So then only we'll use like IDOC splitter or general splitter or something like that. So 10,000 IDOCs, we can't send one by one. Like we have to enable parallel processing. We have to enable streaming. Then only the like
Mm-hmm.
it will consume less time. It will consume less memory and all. So that is why we use the splitter. So in that case, you don't need to gather it again. But some cases you want to gather it again. Like you will do some modifications. Like I will split the payload and I will. It will be like. Um, Say success factor employee records, you will like you will be sending salary to few people, but if it is a hike cycle and all, some people got promotion, some people got
Mm-hmm.
hike. You want to
Okay.
update their salary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that time what you will do, you will have to, like if the people so and so got promoted, then you have to increase his salary by this much percentage. So you will split the record and you will check the condition. You will increase the salary. Then you will
Mm-hmm.
have to gather again to send it back to the S4 system along with the other employee records. That way you will use the gather
Mm-hmm.
option.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just
Yep.
a kind of real time example.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it with respect to. I think I've added that real time use cases also. You can just check
Yeah.
that. Okay. Nested
Mm-hmm.
splitter. Yeah, I think they have just given first split by item, then split by item and all.
Uh,
So yeah, that is with respect to splitter. Next we we will go through multicast. This is also a type of palette function.
yep.
Okay. The name itself says it just uh, sends the message to the multiple routes. Multicast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be having different type of multicast. I'll just show you where it comes in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it all comes under routing. Okay, we have seen gather, we have seen we will see join now. So multicast you can see like there are two options: parallel multicast and sequential multicast, and then router and then splitter. We
Mm-hmm.
almost covered this. Like splitter also we call it general iterative splitter, idle splitter.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
These three we rarely use. So usually these four we
Mm-hmm.
will use, but most probably these two are like ideal to use. IDOC only if
Mm-hmm.
it's IDOC format, then we'll be using this. So I think
Mm-hmm.
we covered this routing almost. Aggregator I will be covering in this session. So what is the difference between sequential multicast and parallel multicast? Sequential name itself says like it will go branch by branch. First, it will go to branch one, then it will go to branch two. Parallel, it doesn't go branch. It is like kind of streaming. It will just send two messages at a time that way. So why we have to send it to? Why we will use in real time multicast and all? Say you want to send the same message to two different system. Okay, I'll just show the document to you. So what is multicast? We want to combine messages that are transmitted. Okay, that is here it is. So multicast is using SAP CPI to send the message to multiple branches simultaneously. Okay, and if you want to do some specific transformation or also while sending it to different receivers, that also you can do it over there. And after multicast, if you want to gather it back, you always have to use the join before gather. So I like I'll show you, but here I just used join before gather. But when we are using splitter, gather alone is enough. But when we are using multicast, we have to use join at any cost. Like otherwise, it will throw an error.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it syncs join just sync branches again, and gather
Mm-hmm.
is to merge messages. But uh, splitter, you don't need to sync the branches, right? That's why we want to
Yeah.
use it. yeah, join over there. So why multicast? When one message needs to be sent to multiple target systems in parallel or sequential way, then we will be using multicast. And or if the data is required in different formats, and to reduce processing time by sending in parallel instead of sequential routing, then we'll be using multicast. So real-time examples and order to logging system and notification service, something like that, or send employee details with both US HR and or if you want to send it to uh, two different country employees are sending US sending and
Yeah.
in backend you will be maintaining it at two different places, then you will be sending it using the multicast. Okay, so if you see we'll trigger one and see it's the same way. So I've given this sample payload, okay, and XML payload, and I want to send it to two different receivers, one in XML format, one in JSON format. Okay, so here in content modifier, I didn't do anything. I will just send, since it is already in XML, I will be just using $input body. But here I want to convert it to JSON, so I used XML to JSON converter, and I have and kept the default things and all. Let me just switch and trace and show it to you.
You copied it. Okay.
Sorry,
You
I just clicked
duplicated
on
this one, right?
duplicate.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, got it.
yes. So since I want to, I want that tab to be open. I just
Oh,
now if you go send it, see here also you can see this part is in XML, the same whatever we sent, and then other part is in JSON. Order ID 123 customer. So how did it came together? Because we use join and gather again. Now if you want to see this meta message processing trends, you can see sequential multicast. So first it send the XML one, and then again it will go to second branch. You can see like here, it will always go branch by branch. First this one is branch one, so it just went to branch one and giving that uh, the branch one results, and then XML to JSON converter. There it converted XML to JSON format. This, and after that we have used join and gather. Join we won't be having any parameters here. It's just used whenever we want to gather the payload when we use multicast. Same way, gather is the same options available over here also. I just use plain test and concatenate it. Then it comes here. So that's it. Multicast simple. So same way, parallel multicast is also similar. It is just um, it doesn't go the same branch again and again. Like now it is like branch from branch, right? There it might be like a become like branch to first and branch to second, that way.
mhm.
And that's the only difference. You can try it out when you're doing, like, since it's the
But
same. I'm like, I'm just
in splitter, it'll go again and again. I didn't get this point actually. Like,
no, splitter is what it will be like big file
yeah,
with 100 MB, like
splitting.
some
Yeah.
thousands of it. It is used to
Mm,
split. It is
mm,
not used to send to multiple routes. This is
mm,
like if now we are joining gathering, right? So I will show you this way. Maybe
mm,
it is confusing to you. I'll
mm.
delete this. Is end message.
And then messages too. Okay.
and then we'll be having some receivers.
Mhm. Two different
Okay.
receivers. Okay.
Yes. So I want to send XML payload as it is to S4 HANA system.
Mm.
I'll be using this, and I want to send this to some other system, say a PA system. I'll be using some other adapter, XA adapter. You want it in JSON, you want it in XML. So that is where
Mm.
we will use multi routes, different routes. Splitter is not like that. It is uses the same payload, different like it just splits the same payload. Like we can't do conversion over there and all. You are getting right. I mean, when we use IDOC splitter,
Mhm.
right? When we use IDOC
Yeah.
splitter, when we, like if we get the IDOC file with 10,000 records, we will be splitting into one IDOC in IDOC format only, not in XML or JSON format. If you want conversions, if you want to do something like change the format or change, do some conditions and then send the, do some modification, then send it to the different receiver, then only we'll use the multicast
Different for
receivers,
different. Okay, receiver. I mean,
different
we are
target
sending to
systems.
different kind. Yeah.
Yeah, different countries data is there, or
Yeah.
so that way we will be using multicast. So we will be using John gather. Why? Because after if same way like if they want to collect the data again, then we'll be using John gather and sending it to one particular system. Like uh, there will be some connected systems in the backend only where we they want the data in two different formats, and then they will be sending it to multiple connected systems. They that part they will only do. Then we will be doing the join gather steps. You can see here real-time scenarios. Send same payment confirmation to bank KPI and internal ERP.
Mm.
Then we'll be using like we'll be sending one receipt to bank and one receipt to SAP backend.
Okay.
Yeah. Distribute employee master data to payroll and benefit system. These two are like different systems at the backend. Or order details will be sent to warehouse and suppliers simultaneously.
Mhm.
Invoice details. Okay, when the store products got sold out, so they have to update the warehouse also. This got sold out. Now the stock is empty. You can send it again, and you have to tell supplier system also this got sold out. Uh,
Mhm.
they like to just to like you know do the normal business transactions. That way we'll be using multicast. Okay.
Mhm.
The splitter is only for one format. You got it right. I mean, confusion is
Mm.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when we use join and gather after doing multicast, there are some limitations. Okay, like we might lose some headers. Like
Mhm.
I just noted on it. It is too theoretical. Uh, I mean, too complex scenarios will be using this. I don't never used, but what happens is like when we keep plain text and concatenate, right?
Mhm.
We cannot access the headers.
Oh.
Yeah, like latest header changed in branch and all that we cannot access. So when we like if it is XML format, but if it is XML format, same format and we use a combine, then we can access headers, can access properties and all. The different limitations we have. Like if you use XML different format, there also we cannot access header and we can access property from branch and only. If you use XML same format, we can access header from one branch only like that.
Mhm.
But it is only when you want to access header and branch after you gather it again. It's not like big limitations and all. You can do you can get this headers and properties if you want. Like if you really want it, you can store it in content modifier and then fetch it back using Groovy script and all. But still,
Mm.
just for theoretical knowledge, I just documented it. You can just go through
Mhm.
that once. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it about multicast. Just leave it. So, say for example, I think we have covered all these other ones, right? Converter and multicast to data, practical, HTTP router, and all. I'll be dealing exception handling. But before that, say for example, SAP will be releasing new adapters now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so SAP recently released an A adapter in the prepackaged content. Okay, how can you, like, it will be there in prepackaged content, and if you want to use it, we have to copy that from discover to design. See, I have like, if you want to use Google Cloud Storage or Gen A adapter for few scenarios, and I'll just show you what new flow maybe I then understand. Twitter, edit, integration flow. Okay, and save, apply. It shows validation failed. Why we see it even should have an incoming session. Okay.
It should have message flow, yeah.
Just use like that.
Mm.
So it shows validation failed. Okay. Just want to check one time. See, now when I clicked on A, it was not there, right? If we just seeing this screen, this A adapter was not there. So
Yeah.
what it is, when some new adapter came into SAP, and if you are using it, is by default it imports the adapter and configuration from prepackaged content to here directly.
Mm.
We don't need to copy that from here to here. See some A adapter. See A adapter for SAP integration suite and all. It is there in. Usually people will search and copy to design and all, but you can do that way also. Like, you can open the flow and if you click on adapter, SAP by default imports. It says it is already there. Do you want to create a copy or overwrite?
Mm.
You can just, I just wanted to show that thing, like how it by default imports. Like, we just need to select and use it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then we will be switching to exception handling. So this is one major concept in CPA for mainly used for like to handle the exceptions. When you write programs and all in Java, you will be using catch, try, catch, block and all, right? Like, to catch the exceptions.
Mhm.
In a similar way, we have in CPA we have something called as exception subprocess. We have some few camel expressions called as dollar exception dot message, dollar exception dot stack trace, something like that. So we will be using, when we use this exception subprocess, like, why we have to use first is to handle the exception, and if you want to send exception back to sender, like if it got failed in CPA, then we'll be using exception subprocess. Okay, so I haven't prepared notes for that, but I will be showing. Just created multiple versions to it. I will just show you one by one. Go to let's go to this. So let's see. Okay, so I just used a normal request replace scenario. Okay, to simulate the error. I just used same customer North Window data address and I use this query. But this query is invalid because when we are using customer query, it should be like we have to give like select customer ID equal to some value or something like that. Since we have not given the correct query, it will fail. Okay, if you so I have to deploy this version. Okay, it started. Okay, send. See now it is giving 500 internal server error. Okay, we don't have any
Yep.
error message or something like that. Here it will be. If we go, so the recent messages, one got failed message saying that it says that HTTP operation failed invoking select XYZ with status code 400. 400 is like bad request because the query is not right. Sender
Mm.
wants this error, not this error. Here it is different. An internal, it is a generic error. It is not the error which we received from the um, this thing HTTP adapter response body, and we will be having like without we attaching anything SAP like HTTP adapter recipe by default attach the response body in the message. Okay, you can see here is the response body. See Northwind property named XYZ on Northwind model customer. It is not there, something like that. Or data query exception 400 bad request, something like that. It sent response body. So we want that response body to be sent back to um, sender. Then we will be using exception subprocess. Okay, I'll just now we have just added exception subprocess. How will add exception subprocess? You just need to be there in external call, I believe. Oh, sorry, it will be there in process call. Okay, here exception subprocess. I just or you can always search here exception subprocess. You can just click on here. Just need to paste here. It will be like this. Okay, similar way. So now it doesn't does anything. If I click on deploy, now I will go on to the message again. So now it shows 400 bad request and the error went. And if you see in CPI, it will be like showing completed status. If you see, it is showing completed status. Why? Because we use the end message here. End message, what it does end message event, it will always says like it is like it handled the exception and now it says okay CPI flow handled the exception, we will show the completed status that way. Like the exception is handled, but it is not sending the exception message. What we have to do, we have to just add the content modifier over there. So You just added one content modifier over here, and I renamed it as get exceptions message. And there are two major camel expression: dollar exception dot message and dollar exception dot stack trace,
Okay.
okay, which gives the error message back to the sender. Now it is started. If you see exception dot message, what it says: HTTP operation field invoking same error which we saw, which we got from this thing, HTTP adapter
Yes.
response body. And this stack trace, it includes all the detailed info. If you send this to sender, then it will be like if it is error from his side, like the query is wrong and all, he will correct it by himself and he will send the data again. Right, but CPI, it is not a CPI error, right? It is a sender error. That's why in CPI it will be showing like completed status. No, doesn't matter whose error it is. If it is fails, even in CPI it has to show the failed status. How we will do that? There are other events also to do that. If you replace end event with okay, there are error end event or escalated end event. You just need to select this error end event, deploy. Now it should started. Now it's showing 500 internal server error. If you go to see the recent message, see 9:43:18, it is giving failed status again. Now it is a clear status. Usually it depends on requirements. Okay, if uh, it depends on the sender team. Like if they give that lenience, like say it is data error, not the CPI flow error. Sometimes, right, when we move to production, we support consultants will be handling the production system, right? So support consultants, what they will be doing, they will be focusing on critical interfaces failures. So if it is data issue and all, and if in CPA it failed status, they will spend, like, waste their time on debugging and all. We don't want that. It is sender error. We just need to send error message back to sender, and we want to handle exception in CPA, saying that showing completed status. Then we will be using end message. And if sender wants, like, no, we want to keep it as failed, just to be make sure that okay, this they have sent but it got failed with so and so reason, like the data is error, just to, like, for audit purposes, then okay, fine, we will be using error event or escalated. Both the error event and escalation event is the same purpose. If you see here, escalation end event and error end event, it I mean, it just, if I use escalated status event, it will just show escalate status is escalated, but it is just identifying, like, if you want some critical interfaces to be shown with escalated status, then we'll be using escalation end event. If it is not critical, no, we'll just use error event, then you can use error end event. Simple.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it does the same function. It shows the same error. Now if you go, see, the status is escalated. The same error. Message ended with escalation end event. That's it. Okay. So that
Yeah.
okay, and you want to, if you want to see, now it is a generic message, right? So if you want to send a detailed info, like kind of alert mechanism or something like that. This is particular to iFlow. In real time, there will be like some 900 interfaces or something like that. You want to send it to MS Teams or something like that. You have to build the proper error body. Like this is the interface name, and this is the exception messages. This is the message ID. For each message, we will be having one message ID. Okay, here. This is message ID. This is correlation ID. Correlation ID is like if two iFlows are related. Okay, say if we use process direct adapter and all, like one iFlow will call the other iFlow. So that two iFlow will be having one correlation ID between two of them. Like if we search with that correlation ID, then the two messages which got triggered will be showing that. Okay, but we'll be having something called as message ID. We can search with this message ID also. Like if sender teams comes and says this message ID got fed or escalated, can you please check? We can just click it on here and it will be showing this message and they can debug further if we miss to track that error or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you want to build the proper payload error body, then you will be using this payload. I'll just show you one payload how it will be. See, it will be like this. Tell something 0.7. Okay, so we have multiple camel expressions here also. So camel expressions you can always by heart, or you don't need to by heart. Like that help.sap.com, I think I pasted one link in the earlier sessions. I think you can just always go through and refer those. But major ones you need to have in mind for interview purposes, like exception dot message, exception dot stack trace is for tracking the exception. And if you want to call some property, it will be like dollar property dot property name header dot header name, and we'll be using the java.lang.string when we define the property, and dollar $in dot body is for message body, and dollar camel id is one such camel expression which will give you the integration flow name. Okay, message processing log id is this one, dollar property dot SAP itself logs the message processing log id. We don't need to define it manually in content modifier, even the correlation id and all. And so I just log this, and if we deploy this version or deployed, see, we got integration flow name, simulate error, handle error, message processing log id, same
Yeah.
id, and correlation id is this one, camel
Mhm.
http response code is 400, exception message is this, exception stack to this is this. Just something like that. If you want to add a tenant name, tenant, like environment name, like this is development environment, this is quality environment, production environment, also you can add that. Since it's trial environment, I just ignore that part. We will have one environment only here. You can add that also, and you can send it to MS Teams and something like that. Okay, or you can store it in data store or something like that. So like there are multiple ways of handling exception subprocess. I think if you see app.samp.com, how to first will exception subprocess. Hmm. See, you can see. You can get more details on exception using exception message as exception dot stack trace. The message processing log will be in error state even if a user catches an exception and performs additional processing on it. Like even it says like even CPI shows completed status. Um, like there is other way. Like this shows completed, right? If you go open text view,
Yeah.
open text view, it will just show you the logs. And if you see your intermediate error is true, that means there is some error.
Okay.
Usually for the normal completed messages without error, this if you see the same for general splitter, it will be like false if there is no error in the whole flow.
Mm-hmm.
You see your intermediate error is false, but there it was
Yeah.
intermediate error is true because it has
True.
some error,
Yeah.
but CPI handled it exceptionally. That's why it is showing completed status. But ideally, it failed because of data error that way. And it says you cannot catch expression of local integration process in the main integration process. Okay, so there is one more point which I state here. Say for example, you have defined the same thing in the local integration process. Local integration process is like kind of sub process. Okay, use column process call. Sure, we'll do it. Right. Okay, here and I will have to define one local integration process. So what we will do, process call is in like you used to call, if you want to use to call this local integration process, then you will add one process call in the main integration flow and you will be referring this local integration flow here. You just need to select this local, and you can see in process call we will be referring local integration process. You just need to select this main and click on save. And now what we will do, I will just copy this and paste it here. Just come. Since I can't copy, I'll delete it else. I'll do the same thing. Okay, I will still here also I will call the request reply HTTP. Okay, and I will give that Northwind Oreta one, customers one. Select. Did notice I didn't recorded that right. Where it is. Let's get authentication. Just a minute, I will go see that information and then again do this. Let's wait. Then design integration API exception handling. Yeah, we can do this also.
అది మీరు కింద ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ కింద ఇంకో 2 సబ్ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ పెట్టారు కదా! దాన్ని ఏమంటాము?
Local integration process.
లోకల్ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్. నాకెందుకు ఇంకొన్ని పేరు రావట్లేదు. ఓకే. లోకల్ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్. ఓకే.
Okay, now what I've defined the same thing in the local integration process, and I will be calling the local integration process in the main flow and save, deploy. Okay, cancel. It got started. Okay.
Local integration process 1. Okay.
Now see that it should come with the proper error details and all, right? We have added exception subprocess here. We have added all the body and all, but it didn't come. Why? Because exception subprocess doesn't work that way. If you want, because I'll switch on trace and show you because it failed in exception subprocess in local integration process, right? You have to define exception subprocess there also. Okay. See what it does. It will go to process call first, and then from process call it will call the request reply. Okay, and request reply gives the error, sends the error back, and then again it will go back to the HTTP. But since exception process is defined here, it didn't handle the error properly. If you want to handle this exception properly, we'll have to define that exception subprocess here also. Okay, so now if you deploy, it came back. So that's what SAP block says. You cannot catch exception of local integration process in the main integration process when an error is thrown during integration time, and the same is called with exception process. The process gets terminated. So you have to always define exception subprocess in the all the blocks to handle the exceptions. Or if you want generic exception subprocess, say now it is just only two. If we have like 3 4 local integration subprocess, how we will do, we can always do this process like exception subprocess separately. Like you just call this exception subprocess here, or call some local integration process. Define some local integration process. Remove this. Handle the content modifier here. Okay, and here you do the process call. Process call. Okay, now I will be calling local integration process 2 from this flow, and I will assign one exception process here, and I will add one process call here.
Process call to.
Now I will be assigning local integration process 2 here also, so that even if it fails here, or even if it fails here, it will auto redirect to this, and it will handle the exception. And here you can use the like error end event or escalation end event based on your requirement. I'll use end message, fine. Error end event. You can connect to that and define that. Okay. So this way you will be saving. Sorry, you don't need to define again and again in exception processing all the flows. You just need to do process call. That is the benefit of process call or local integration process. It's dividing the work.
Yeah.
Same repetitive works. Yeah. So that's it for today's class. I think we have covered.
Yeah.
I'll just show like what and all I have covered. Participants, sender, receiver. This is done. This is just copy this button. This exception process is done. Integration process is done. Local integration process
Local
is this
integration.
only. Sub process only. Okay. And then end event is done. End message is done. End event is nothing but this, the one which comes in local integration process. Right. This one. This one is end event. Like by default it comes, but end message is this mean integration flow one. Error end event is this to show the status as error when it fails, and error start event is also like that. If you want, I can use error start event also. Escalation event, like just to differentiate the message status, we'll be using that. Same way, if you want to terminate the message, you can use a timer based plus. We haven't discussed it, right? It is just to if you want, if there is no sender. See, if sender says like okay, we won't send the message, but CPI itself has to call our API or our sender system every day at 3 o'clock. Then we will be using timer.
Mhm.
Okay, it will be
Yeah.
like this. Just delete this. So we have something like hmm, the scheduler is there. There is basic schedule or advanced schedule. If you go to advanced schedule, so you'll be
Wow.
having option every
Hello,
every 5 minutes.
Karthik, you're breaking. Hello.
Hello.
Karthik, your voice breaking.
Okay, okay. So
Just
we'll
stop
stop
screen
it.
sharing. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I will stop it here. I'll just
Mm-hmm.
share the notes with you 1 minute.
Okay.
I think almost 40 percentage, 40 to 45 percentage covered. Okay, bro. I think it is just like few
So far,
adapters. Yeah, just
nice.
like few adapters left and mapping and data store, PGP encryption. So a few parent functions which we're using rarely, but mapping is like most used. But I will be covering that session lastly because it is too deep. Um, like if the mapping doesn't work, then only we have to go switch to the Groovy, right? Or if any parent function doesn't do, so that's why we need to know mapping very thoroughly. I'll be covering that last. Tomorrow onwards, I plan to have this SAP and start API in parallelly,
Mm.
but I thought of just telling you today itself, but I prepared notes also. uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's
అంటే
say
నాకు నాకు
షేర్ చేస్తాను ఒక జస్ట్ అంటే లైక్ ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్ స్ట్రక్చర్ చెప్దామని అనుకున్నా ఈరోజు.
mm.
Um, ఎలా ఉంటుంది లైక్ ఏమేమి టీమ్ వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారు ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ అదే ఇది ఎలా.
Mm.
But we'll cover it tomorrow. No problem. I think this took some extra time.
ఎక్కువ నాకు లైక్ అంటే వర్క్ చేశానన్నట్టు చూపిస్తున్నది. సో
Hmm.
వర్క్‌లో నార్మింగ్ అదే ఇది ఉంటది కదా!
Hmm.
ప్రొనౌన్సియేషన్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా! వర్డ్ ఈ పర్టిక్యులర్ వర్డింగ్స్ ఉంటాయి. తర్వాత ప్రాసెస్
Hmm.
ఉంటది. లైక్ ఇందులోకెళ్ళి ఇలా చేసుకుంటా. అవి కొంచెం మెయిన్‌గా తెలిస్తే గనుక నేను చెప్పడం,
Hmm.
మాట్లాడడానికి ఉంటదన్నట్టుగా కొంచెం ఎక్స్‌ప్లనేషన్ అడిగాననమాట.
యూజువలీ ఎంఎం వాళ్ళ
హ్మ్.
ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ పే సైకిల్, ఎక్స్డి వాళ్ళ
హ్మ్.
ఆర్డర్ టు క్యాష్, హెచ్ఆర్ వాళ్ళ హైర్ టు రీహైర్. ఇవన్నీ నీకు కొంచెం మెయిన్ టర్మ్స్ ఉంటాయి.
అవును.
అవన్నీ తెలిస్తే చాలు.
వాళ్ళు చేసే
చెప్తే
ప్రాసెస్ ఒకటే. ఈ నామెన్‌క్లేచర్ వల్ల మొత్తం అంతా డిఫరెంట్ డిఫరెంట్‌గా అనిపిస్తది ఒక్కొక్కసారి. కన్‌ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోతా ఉంటాను.
యూజువలీ లైక్ డే టు డే టర్మ్స్
హ్మ్.
we'll be using kada. So for technical consultants, it will be like this only. Even when we talk daily, also they will be like we'll be asking questions. What does that mean? Any? But
హ్మ్.
okay, I think fine. I will see. Like I will just explain like real time. Like what email
ఆ!
chapter.
ఈ
So
రియల్
I
టైమ్
think
ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ వచ్చేసరికి కొంచెం తెలుగులో చెప్తే నేను కొంచెం ఈజీ అది లైక్ ఆలోచించుకుంటా మైండ్‌లో గ్రాస్ప్ చేసుకో. ఇంగ్లీష్ కూడా
మీకు
వచ్చు
మన
కానీ మధ్య
ఇప్పుడు
మధ్యలో డిస్ట్రాక్ట్ అయిపోతున్నా.
okay, okay, you can stop me anywhere. Like మన
హ్మ్.
if you're not understanding somewhere.
హ్మ్.
This session
9
9 ఇది లాస్ట్ టైం నోట్స్ సెషన్ 8 పంపించాను నేను ఆల్రెడీ.
పంపించనున్నారు. పంపించారు. 7, 8 కలిపి పంపించినట్టున్నారు. 2 కలిపి
ఓకే
పంపించారు.
ఓకే ఓకే.
హ్మ్.
సో దిస్ ఇస్ ఫర్ సెషన్ 8. దీంట్లో మల్టీకాస్ట్ ఉంది కదా. Yeah, multicast in this exception subprocess also I have. I think I'm not sharing my screen, right?
లేదు.
Okay.
స్టాప్ స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్.
Actually, I thought of covering those PM also, but fine. See that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be available. No?
Yeah.
Sure.
Tomorrow, I
Exception.
think I have an interview. I
Oh,
will
no.
text you in the Teams itself, like when I have interview, or else I'll tell him. I'll
సరే
tell the
సరే
tech team to discuss about this. Yeah.
పర్లేదు నాకు కొంచెం ఎర్లీగా చెప్తే
చెప్తాను. ఈరోజు క్యాన్సిల్ చేసుకున్నాను ఇంటర్వ్యూ. అది డిఫరెంట్ ఉంది.
అవును
ఎల్ఐసి ఏజెంట్ లా ఉంది అది. బట్ ఎందుకని చెప్పి ఇక్కడ క్యాన్సిల్ చేశాను.
సరే పేస్ట్ చేశాను ఇది 1 2 పీరియడ్స్ చెప్పండి నాకు రేపు ఒక వద్ద ఓకే
ఓకే బ్రో.
షూర్ చాలా బై థ్యాంక్ యూ గుడ్ నైట్
Bye. Good night.